Can you train a dog without ever having to correct it or bribe it with food? Yes, you can, and I'm going to show you how. Hi, I'm Robert Brandau. I'm the training director for Canine Companions, and over the next half hour, I'm going to teach you how to handle and train your dog in such a way that you never have to correct it again. Everyone talks about positive reinforcement. Books, breeders, trainers, and the next thing you hear is how to correct your dog for when it does something wrong, and say, no, no, no. So there are trained dogs out there running around with owners yelling at the dog, saying, no, heel, don't do that or that, never do that one, I hate that one, especially don't do that one ever again. And what happens is you're actually encouraging the dog to do the very thing wrong. If I said something to you like, hey, don't think of blue, can you do that? What happens is you end up thinking of blue to not think of blue. And it's the same example if I was to spill milk on the floor. If I spilled the milk on the floor, you said, no, Bob, don't spill that milk. I can't do that. I can't do don't spill the milk. Of course, I can be careful not to spill it again, and I can go clean it up. But this is the same dilemma that we actually put our dogs into. Company comes over, the dog's excited, it jumps on the company, we're going, no, down, no, don't jump, don't jump. And it's actually encouraging the dog to jump on the company. And we're going to show you an example like this. We have a little scenario set up where we're going to have a dog actually jump on somebody when it comes in the front door and show a typical response of what an owner would do, trying to correct the dog and teach it properly. And we're going to show you all the mistakes and why it's wrong to do that and what you can do instead. We'll be right back. Hi, okay. We're going to simulate for you now a typical situation of being at home with your loving dog and having company come over. Meaning well, you often are going to encourage the dog to do the behavior you're trying to correct. And we're going to show you what that's like right now. Okay, we have company. Who is it? Come on in. And now the dog jumps up, trying to get the dog to come off him. He's correcting the dog. The first mistake was actually letting company come in before you had control of your dog. Now let's show you a different situation here. The same thing going on, but this time we're going to control the dog correctly. Okay, bring Chopper back over here.
Chopper, come here.
Let Chopper with you.
Stay.
Chad, knock on the door. Knock on the door, Chad. All right, now this time the dog can come up to the company. Stay, stay, stay. Now company can come in, and we can get the dog actually to be in control without ever having to correct them. This time we're going to use a go and a stay command. So we're going to simulate somebody coming over again. We're going to have Chad knock on the door. Go ahead, Chad, knock on the door. And Chopper, go up to the door now. Go ahead, Chop, go ahead. Get him excited a little bit. Okay, stay. Now this time James can walk up and say, who is it? Stay, 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 stay. Oh, it's Chad. Okay, go, 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 and down. Now this way Chad can come in and we can keep control of Chopper. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that the animals you're seeing performing on tonight's show are very well trained. If you're having trouble getting your dog to listen to you, to the basic commands such as sit or down, contact Canine Companions. The numbers are showing up on the screen as well as our website. We'll be glad to train your dog for you. Remember, we are the professionals. Back to the show. Everything we're going to be teaching you on today's show is to help you end up with a trained dog. And for us, a trained dog should behave and listen to you all the time, no matter what's going on or where you are, on or off the leash, even when you're not there. So you should be able to trust your dog home alone. Now, I want the dogs that we train to have a sense of fun, joy, affection, a natural initiative, to know how to play and do their own thinking. Now, behavior that continues to occur is rewarding. So if you've been correcting your dog for doing things wrong and the behavior continues, the corrections are actually reinforcing the bad behavior. So stop doing them. In addition, they can cause your dog to become afraid or scared of you. If you become frustrated or you become upset and angry that the dog is not listening or should know better, the dog will learn to avoid you and the corrections, but not the behavior. Now, if this goes on unchecked, they can actually become aggressive towards you. The dog will find no way out, and it'll have to defend itself from you. So there's a few rules of reinforcement that you need to recognize. One is, if the behavior you're correcting continues to occur, the corrections are actually reinforcing the behavior. Negative reinforcement is still reinforcement. They can also cause your dog to become afraid of you. Now, if they're afraid of you, they'll have one of two responses. One is to avoid you and the correction, but not the behavior. The other is to protect themselves or defend themselves from you. This is the #1 reason why dogs turn on people. I want you to realize that dogs don't do bad things. At least from their point of view, they're not bad. Now, we want to teach you how to teach the dog what it is it should be doing before it gets into trouble. Now, when you work from a generative learning model, you can escape from having to correct the dog. Situational, negative type of corrections are not needed. Now, the mental stimulation from teaching a dog to problem solve like this actually creates an animal with higher intelligence and a better temperament. Remember, to get your dog trained, contact Canine Companions at 1-800-933-6489 or go to the website. Thanks, back to the show. Now, everyone wants a trained dog. And that can mean different things to different people. Some people just want a dog that's going to be housebroken. Other people want a dog that's going to be off-leash trained and will listen to them whether they're down at the park or when company comes over or when you're just hanging out and having fun. The basic commands that you need to use to train a dog can also be used to solve all the basic problems that we've been hired to correct over the last 30 years. Whether they're housebreaking problems or chewing or jumping or pulling, running away or not listening, basic obedience commands can be used to teach your dog what it should be doing regardless of the circumstances or situations. We can use a sit command to correct a dog for jumping before it ever gets to jump. We can use a come and stay command to teach a dog to heel with us and walk correctly on the leash. We can use the down command to keep control over our pets and teach them how to behave while we're entertaining guests. So it's not about correcting your dog. It's about teaching the animal what to do instead. And we're going to begin to show you some of that right now. Hi. Another problem that we're often confronted with is bolting and pulling. And most of the time, owners actually encourage their dogs to do this, and in one of those ways is the way they allow their dogs to go out the door. And we're going to demonstrate the wrong way for you right now. Here we have James and Chopper, and they're going to show you how the dog would go to the door. Go ahead. Go ahead, up to the door. Go ahead. Now he's pulling to the door. You can see him pulling. And now he opens the door, and the dog just bolts through the door and pulls him right out the door. Now that's the wrong way. That'll actually encourage your dog to bolt and encourage your dog to pull. Now we're going to demonstrate the correct way to walk your dog up to the door and through the doorway so that you're actually teaching them to stay with you and not bolt. So here we go. We have James again working with Chopper. So he's got Chopper staying, then coming, staying. Now he'll stop the dog with some space between himself and the doorway that allows him to get through the door and tell the dog to go through in control. Now he can bring the dog through it in control. Now, this can be done quickly if you wanted it to. You don't have to take the time. We're taking it slow so that we can demonstrate for you in the home audience to see exactly how it's done. And we'll show you coming back through again. So bring him through this way again. Now, the only thing you didn't do was close the door, but that's okay. So by walking your dog using the come and stay commands and giving yourself a little bit of space, you can teach your dog the correct way to walk through the door and eliminate bolting or the desire in the dog to do so. Now, sometimes there's just something you know must be true, and everything supports your belief in it being this way. Now, ever since I was a child, I knew there was something special or even magical about interacting with other living creatures. And it didn't necessarily matter what species. I knew there was a way to make contact that could transform the way the world was for me. And it has to do with an attitude that allows for contact to occur. And from this attitude, contact will occur. It must. Once contact occurs, there is a relationship and a bond forms. Now, this is what led me to continue down this path to master that which was important to me, having the relationships. The Go Lay Down command is taught in Canine Companions' Kinship training program around the second lesson. We use this lesson to help owners get control of their pets, even under the exciting circumstances of having company come over, for example. This command will allow you to get the connection with your pet at the non-physical level, which translates to off-leash control. Here's a demonstration.
Go. Down. Down. Stay.
Another time when basic obedience commands are important is when you're walking around the neighborhood with your pet and you happen to run into a friend or a loved one. Without these commands, the dog can often become excited and pull and even jump on people. Let's show you a demonstration of what happens when things go wrong.
Hey, Chopper, hey. Oh.
Now you can see that the dog is being rude, it's uncomfortable.
Hey, Chopper, hey.
Now you can see when it's done wrong, the dog's jumping, pulling, it's being rude, the person's actually trying to protect themselves from getting hurt. Now we're going to demonstrate the correct way using the obedience commands that you can keep your dog in control and still greet and say hello. And here we go. Alright, now the same scenario. We'll have two people walk up, and this time the owner of the dog will tell their dog to come and stay using the simple commands, and by doing so can teach their dog the proper way of greeting somebody. Okay, gentlemen.
Chopper, come. Stay. Come. Stay. Come. Stay.
A little bit more on the rug, please.
Come. Come.
I need you on the rug.
How you doing? How you doing?
Now you can pet the dog, and the dog can be kept in control and kept from actually jumping. So this is the correct way. Again, using simple obedience commands, you can teach your dog the proper greeting. Hi, again, I'm Robert Brandau, the training director for Canine Companions, and I'd like to thank you for spending this time with us. I hope you learned something new about the training or handling of your dog. If you have any questions about getting your dog trained or about some training problems you're encountering, don't hesitate to contact me. You can reach me directly at bob@getyourdogtrained.com. Here's to you never correcting your dog again. Hey, Murphy, tell him the program's over. Good dog.